soon and just so I don't fuck up again. Does she know we met up? And should I say something or not?
Nah, I don't think so. It's not that deep.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, share, subscribe. Click on that bell button for the notifications, baby. And for those of you who are returnees, you ain't got the minerals. You ain't got the minerals. Hey, listen. Hey, make sure you click down below. Get your merchandise. Mineral Gang. You understand? Mineral Gang. You understand? Listen, boom. Let's get into the video. We're going to talk about Insecure part 2. Hey, make sure you click on that bell button for notifications of the uploads. So we open up the scene in episode 2 with Andrew and Molly coming out of the bar, coming out of the restaurant, etc. And we see that Andrew has got a call from work and he's just lost. So I mean, I was suspicious when he said he got the call. I was suspicious. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought he was bluffing, and I thought maybe it was another girl from his dates. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie to you. All right. Then he comes out of that, and then they start talking, and he says obviously he lost a big case or whatever, and then they make a joke about birthday cake or
Cake I'm gonna have later.
Oh, but wait. I'm not sharing.
Are you sure?
his cake or whatever, right? Said she's not sharing, right? Now, listen, look, I always tell you guys something. You cannot exchange your body for what? Commitment. You also cannot exchange your body for emotional intimacy. It does not work. Your body is for sexual intimacy. The person getting to know your body does not equate to them getting to know you emotionally. The person getting to know your body does not equate to mental and intellectual intimacy. It does not equate to spiritual intimacy. It does not equate to experiential intimacy. It just equates to sexual intimacy, which is one of the 7 pillars of intimacy, or roundabouts. You understand? So it's very important to understand that. So when they come out and they obviously end up having sex, etc., we already know that, okay, cool, they've reached a certain level in their relationship. Now here's the thing. Later on in when they were at the house, Molly was saying to the girls that, hey, you know what? I might have to slow this down. I might slow this down because what's happening is I'm talking a lot. I'm talking bits. But he's not really talking. He's not really opening up to me. And here's why. Because you opened your body instead of opening your mouth and your 2 ears. And the Bible says that be slow to speak, but open these ears. Faith cometh by what? Hearing. And when you begin to hear, the Bible says faith cometh by hearing the word of God. When you begin to hear, it says we walk by faith, not by sight. That means whatever you see is because of what you hear. So if you're not hearing much from him, you're not seeing much of him either. You're not seeing who he truly is. You're dating in the dark. And so what happened, and this is why I say that when people rush into sex, they get excited because of the chemicals that are running, the dopamine, the serotonin, the oxytocin. The oxytocin is important because that's the bonding agent. That's where girls often
It's been almost a month and I'm just not feeling close to him. It's weird. And meanwhile, I'm telling him everything. I even told him how I had to wear a helmet to bed till I was 11.
Pray to, because they love the bonding, right? That bonding, that makes you want to hug someone, you want to caress them, makes you want to be around them, makes you want to share things with them. That is involved in sex as well. So that's the attachment, right? But when you're in pain and you're numb, you tend to what? Switch off the chemicals that send those signals. The signals that are running, you turn them off when you're in pain. And because you're in pain, the pain blocks out those particular signals that are coming through. That's why guys oftentimes cannot commit. It's not because they're not able to commit. A lot of these guys are in pain. That's why they become cheaters, serial cheaters, abusers, all these kind of things. Because they turn off the signals that should be sending the good stuff to them. They turn it off so that they can focus on simply the pain that they're covering the pain that they feel. So then sex becomes a drug. It becomes addictive. And what we see here is that Molly has got into a stage where she likes this guy so much. She's opened her body on a sexual intimacy level, on a physical intimacy level, but she hasn't got what she needed, which is what? The emotional care. So now when she talks to him, she's talking, she's opening up, but there's no returning of that. Why is there no return of that? Because again, expectation hasn't been stated. You want more of his emotional, more of his emotional care, you're gonna have to do it. So what does she do? She decides to take it there, right? And she slows it down. So she invites him over. He comes over. First thing he does, he gets around her, physical touch, hugs her from behind, starts kissing her. They have a bit of gumbo. She's like, listen, look, my guy, I need you to slow this down tonight, okay? I want to get to talking to you. Because before that, they're spoken on the phone, and he wanted to go out on a concert. Now, the concert may have been, the reason why he might have gone to the concert is because he might have been trying to avoid having very intimate moments so that he doesn't have to talk. Or it could be the fact that his love language is quality time activities. He likes doing stuff, right? Either way, so we find out obviously now, she sits him down at a table at her house, and they're now talking, and she's expressing some of the stuff that's happened to her in her life. You see a little picture, and then she asks a question about his family, and he speaks about his sister. We don't know where she lives at the moment, and obviously a very deep thing. And what he sees is that she begins to probe. There's nothing wrong with probing, especially. But the problem here is that because they didn't build the intimacy at the beginning in terms of conversation, she's having to force the thing. And it's a lesson for all of you. When you bypass the emotional and mental intellectual intimacy and you go for sex, you're going to have to do a double back. And when you do a double back, you're going to have to force a lot of things.
I don't really want to get into it.
Hey, listen, it's okay. You can tell me.
Hey, we can still...
Because if that person's not ready to open up, you're going to miss a lot of things. That person will be like, oh, I'm not ready to open up. And it'll frustrate you. Why? Because what you want now is emotional and mental intimacy, which should have been there at the beginning. That should come first before the sexual intimacy. So now she's pushing. And the guy's like, listen, no, I'm going to go to the concert. I'm not here for this. I'm not here to be interrogated. Do you understand? So we see all of that kind of stuff. And I'm saying to you, look, if this wouldn't have happened had she taken time to actually get to them on an emotional level. Do you understand? This is very, very crisp and very, very important for a lot of us. All right, cool. Then also, you know, at the end as well, later on, he then calls her up to say, listen, hey, look, do you know what, my bad. You're absolutely right. I was kind of avoiding the situation. I didn't want to. I'm scared to let you in, right? And a commitment issue. When a guy has commitment issues, you must know there's always pain involved. There's something that happened in the past that scares him from committing. There's something in the past that happened that if he feels like if he commits, he's weak, and if he commits, he's vulnerable, and if he commits, then someone can hurt him. And what he's doing is he's hardening himself. Ladies, until they open up the tables, until they open up the walls, and until they open up their mouth to speak about what they're feeling, you do not commit. Yeah? Because this is dangerous.
Or just doing too much.
No, you weren't. That I was thinking, I don't want to bore you with it, but honestly, it's just hard for me to let someone in like that.
Because a guy who refuses to open up and be committed to you and allow you in emotionally is a guy that can take advantage of you. Don't get gassed by the sexy charm and the deep voice. Don't get charmed by that. No. Focus. Get your head in the game. You understand? All right, cool. We obviously get entreated at the beginning as well. Condola and Issa have this very awkward conversation. I mean, it was awkward. I mean, and it was coming. I told you that unless they're going to be honest about the mutual person in between them two, this friendship can't really flourish.
To be cool, because I only have room for good energy.
I agree. No bad energy, no weirdness.
None. I'm not about to let someone who puts mayonnaise on his french fries make things weird.
Oh my God, he does do that. I'm like, what? This ain't Amsterdam.
Which is Lawrence, yeah? Condola's dating Lawrence. Issa's dated him before. And every friendship that is very close, everybody has relationship stuff they want to talk about. Now, I said this relationship cannot flourish until they're going to be honest. Reason being is because in a friendship, someone always talks about, oh, I'm dating this person, or I'm liking this person. You can't do that now. You can't say, oh, me and Lawrence had an argument, because unless Issa's okay and she's over it, it's always going to trigger her, and then she'll be like, I don't really want to talk about it, or you know, she will not give you good energy, and you don't want that. You understand? We tell our friends these things because we want to have some advice, right? And let them know and let us help us out. All right, cool. So that was awkward. Obviously, they bonded over the fact that he put mayo on his chips or something like that, which was totally out as well. I don't even know what that was about. And then obviously later on, we have Condola obviously having lunch with Lawrence, and which then she obviously then spills the beans about the fact that herself and Issa were discussing him. Now, obviously he came up in conversation. Now, his fear here is the fact that, you know, at first I wasn't sure, but his fear here is obviously that, you know what, it didn't work out with Issa, right? And when we break up with somebody, we distance ties with them, we cut ties with that person, right? And we cut everything bad that ever happened about us with them. Yeah, anything that was bad, anything that was negative, we cut it loose with them. Yeah. The trouble is, if now you're friends with the ex, anything bad or negative that Issa has to say about me is going to go to you, it's going to come and mess with your head, and it can infect the relationship. So I have a thing that we say this. In the Garden of Eden, the snake only spoke. He didn't touch, he didn't move, he didn't do any of that thing. He just spoke. And so words have the power to be able to manifest itself in a relationship and begin to become what? Poison. Right? Or they can bring life. So the Bible says there's life and death in the power of the tongue. So you have to understand that when he's fearful of the fact that Issa could say something negative. Like if they were perfectly good, yeah? You were good and your mercy are forever. If they were perfectly good when they broke up, like perfectly good, yeah? And he felt like Issa had his back as a friend, yeah? Not just as not as an ex who could potentially be jealous, but as a friend. He probably might not have as much trouble letting it go.
Talk about you, I promise. We just kind of needed to call it out, to let it go.
The point where now he's even talking to his friends, yeah? And he's like, he's threatened that much that he wants to even tell Condola not to be friends with Issa, because then she goes, he's threatened too much. Why? Because he's he's fearful of something that hasn't even happened yet. But he's trying to prevent something from occurring. Do you understand? And that's really, that's what's really interesting in this particular scenario. And so obviously, like I said, just to reiterate the point, his whole thing is that he doesn't want his image to be tarnished. He also wants her to get to know him organically. Because as much as obviously he would have shared so much with Issa, look, now he's got a new girl. The angle of what he will let somebody know may be different. The girl might not know as much as Issa within the first few months, but he will let her know some new things. You understand? Because he will have a new perspective. He will have a changed mind. Since he's broken up, there's different things that have happened to him. And so this is what he wants to allow her to get to experience. He doesn't want her to experience him through her. You understand? Yeah? It's some of things. You know what I'm saying? Plus, you don't want Issa to have a foothold or a one-up on you by knowing stuff about your relationship when you broke up with her already. Then obviously as well, the situation where he actually goes to meet up with Issa. Now, when he tells her, listen, I'm very happy with Condola and I'm looking to move on with her, I can see Issa's disappointed, yeah? Because there's always a little bit of a hope, isn't it? When you meet your ex, there's always a little bit of hope that the person will still fool you some type of way, innit? Maybe it's an ego thing, or maybe you genuinely do care about them. But when he said that, that put the nail in the coffin. But one thing I would say is that he didn't do smart. Never, ladies and gentlemen, never, read my lips. Never, yeah? Never meet your ex, especially in a situation like this, and do not be honest and tell your current girlfriend that you...
Does she know we met up? And should I say something or not?
Nah. I don't think so. It's not that deep.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Cool.
Whenever you do that, you leave room for deceit. You leave room for assumption. You leave room for guesstimations. You just basically leave room for the devil. And the Bible says, leave no room for the devil between you and your partner. Why? Because when you give him a foothold, yeah, he takes an inch and more. So instead of just being honest and saying, look, Condola, look, I've met up with Issa. Now what he's done, he doesn't even realize what he's done. Issa now knows that she's met up with Lawrence, and this is a secret she has to hold from Condola the whole entire time. If this comes out and then Condola finds out that Issa knew about this meeting and didn't tell her, it's a disloyal thing, and that friendship can be broken. Maybe that's what he's planning, I don't know. But it can cause disruption there, and it actually can backfire on him, because then she can feel like them two are doing a thing. Condola can feel like Lawrence and Issa are doing a thing behind her back. Do you see how this is? Do you see why honesty is so important? Because the domino effect is great. You understand? It's great. I appreciate obviously everything that was happening, and I really love Issa, character, because it allows us to explore, a breakup, and breakups are tough, but we all gone through them, so we all like to kind of see how someone deals with it. Obviously, I know she's dealing with the TSA man, and I think that again just kind of reiterates another thing where she is not stable. Like, as much as you think that you're having sex and enjoying, you're not stable. When you're having sex like that, and it's meaningless because actually you don't really fancy this guy, you don't really like this guy per se, you're just doing it because obviously you need to get your rocks off, then blood, let me tell you something, as you're doing that, it's just filling time, you're knocking the boots, but actually it's not meaningful. and eventually it catches up with you. You know what I'm saying? It catches up with you because then you start to view the world that way. You start to perceive the opposite sex that way, that they're just that for sex. You understand? And then it makes you, because you've not been able to connect with people, and you've been connecting on a sexual level, it becomes harder to get into another relationship because you've been connecting on a sexual level that now when you have to get into intimate spaces where you have to actually delve into the emotional stuff, you can't do it as easy because you've been banging the whole time whilst you're off. Instead of just relaxing, resting and recuperating and becoming the woman you need to become for the next person, you haven't. You've been having sex. So you kind of stalled your development. But hey, guys, that's Insecure episode 2. If you like what we do, share, comment down below. Hey, think before you do, you know. Don't do before you think, as you're thinking about what you got to do. Do you understand? I appreciate you. Stay locked, stay loaded. Lovely, baby.